So there's been a lot of attention recently to the new Superman film and its quote-unquote subtle support for Palestine and what's going on in the world today. So the film begins by setting the scene between two nations. You've got Boravia and Jarhanpur. And Boravia, which is a US ally, is seeking to take over and invade Jarhanpur. And so what happens is that Superman gets involved without permission of the US, and because of this, he comes under international condemnation, even though he saved the lives of innocent people. Now, the similarities between Boravia and modern-day Israel is striking. They are a US ally, they are technologically advanced, they get billions and billions of US aid, and they are deeply entrenched with the US intelligence and defense department. Meanwhile, the people of Jarhanpur are brown-skinned, they are not white, they live in the desert. Some of the women in some of the scenes are wearing headscarves, and obviously this is a pretty clear reference to depict the people of Gaza. Not to mention that they are militarily completely weaker than Boravia, and also the US views them as different and that their cultures just do not align. Lex Luthor, who is a US billionaire secretly funding and supporting the Boravian government, is in charge of not only weakening Superman physically, but ends up launching a media propaganda campaign to demonize and blacken the name of Superman. He is hosted on talk shows saying how evil Superman is and that he is not to be trusted, that he is a threat to the US. In fact, Lex Luthor even hires a team of monkeys to spread propaganda about Superman across the world. A very striking similarity to the propaganda and the bots and the misinformation and disinformation that we see today. In fact, one of the phrases used to demonize the name of Superman is that he is using the women on Earth to repopulate them, and that he wants to build a harem of women. And the word harem here is used in a very specific context, which Western Orientalists have used for centuries to try and paint a very perverse sexual demeanor of especially Middle Eastern Arab men. And it's interesting that they use the same phrase here on Superman's character. Another striking similarity was the deal made between Lex Luthor and the Boravian government, where the Boravian government promised Lex Luthor half of Jarhanpur if he assists them militarily and technologically. And again, I cannot help but think the planning that people were doing by saying that when Gaza is taken over, we are going to build skyscrapers here and entertainment parks and hotels. They were literally thinking into the future about what they are going to do when they occupy and invade a land. There is also a scene in which Superman is interviewed by a journalist who begins to villainize him and attack him because he helped innocent civilians, but it happened to be against US interests. Typical, what we find today is that anything which goes against the US mainstream narrative must be demonized, must be alienated. Some say that this may be depicting the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, but I just don't buy that for a few reasons. Number one, in Superman, the US is allying with the bad side, whereas in reality, in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, the US is siding with Ukraine, who it paints as the good guy. However, the Zionist entity in reality, which is openly the bad guy, is the ally of the US, which makes more sense in the depiction of the film. Number two, the oppressed people of Jarhanpur are brown-skinned, they live in the desert, some of their women wear headscarves. This is not depicting the Ukrainian people. This is overwhelmingly depicting the people of Gaza. Toward the end of the film, there is a scene where Boravia ends up invading the people of Jarhanpur, and it is literally a depiction of armed soldiers invading unarmed civilians with sticks. Men, women, children. It is an actual depiction of what we find happening today in Gaza, in Rafah, in Khan Yunis. I came across an interesting point from a blog online that said that this is one of the first films where usually Superman is a hero that is defending the US, but this time Superman is a hero that is defending innocent people, that is standing up for the innocent oppressed people against the interest of the US, and that actually puts him in direct conflict between the US Defense Department and himself. The film has been getting so much traction that some hardcore Zionists have decided to post about the film, actually trying to defend the state of Boravia against the people of Jarhanpur, even though the film Boravia is very clearly shown to be the bad side, and the people of Jarhanpur are very, very clearly shown to be the oppressed, innocent people.
The people of Jarhanpur are brown.
Look at my African American over here.
The people of Boravia are white. Okay, so this is why the left is reading this as Israel, the Palestinians. The reason it doesn't work that way is because we are not made aware that the people of Jarhanpur are either wildly some support.
All I'm saying is that if people like Ben Shapiro, one of the mouthpieces of the Zionist occupation, has got a problem with the new Superman film, and he's literally trying to defend Boravia against Jarhanpur, Well then, you know what, DC, you've done a good job. It's an interesting film, a fresh perspective on things, and hopefully this helps in people actually waking up and seeing the kind of propaganda and the oppression that is taking place in the world today.